Hello everyone, this is Lord Shadrach. I figured I'd make this video as a video as to where I was on 9/11 when the towers fell. I was in 9th grade when the attack began. I remember it very well. My class was doing an assignment about Animal Farm, which is a great book by George Orwell if you're interested in it. Excuse me. But that's not the point. The point is, what was happening during this time is that my teacher was pulling up the television set, and I thought at first it was a documentary about American history. Little did I know it would be history in the making. On a local news channel, I had seen images, in fact my entire class did, of the towers being hit. And then a little while later we heard about the situation in Pennsylvania and the situation in the circumstances in the Pentagon, about planes hitting those areas as well. Prior to all of this, one of my friends at the time was a Bosnian Muslim. I was very worried about this guy. I was very worried about him. The reason being is that him being a Muslim of all people, ignorant individuals would have accused him of being a terrorist because of his Muslim faith. Also, considering the fact that my Bosnian Muslim friend grew up during the Yugoslav civil wars in the mid-1990s, I am quite sure that he had bad memories of those events happening in his mind. Because you don't forget stuff like that. You don't forget stuff like that. You grow up with it. My late grandmother even remembered clear as day of her life growing up in the Battle of Britain in World War II, and she still, to her dying day, remembered it. But back on the topic of my Bosnian Muslim friend in 9/11, I made for the rest of the day, I decided to look out for him because I was worried about him. Not only was he reliving if he had flashbacks to this prior event of his childhood, the Yugoslav civil wars, but also the fact people would have attacked him because of his Muslim faith. Fortunately, we had 2 classes and a lunch period following my American government class. In my English class, I would always take a look at him, seeing if he was okay. At lunch, I'd sat next to him, just to make sure he was okay. And I also had a math class with him. Now, there was another reason as to why I kept a close eye on my Bosnian Muslim friend. Not only was I worried about him having flashbacks to the Yugoslav civil wars, in case he wanted to talk to me about it, he could, and I'd be willing to listen, but I was also worried that people would hold him responsible because of his Muslim faith. I was prepared to defend my Muslim friend. I was prepared to say, look, he may be a Muslim, but he had nothing to do with this. Because, let's face it, since when did being a Muslim make anyone a terrorist? Not every Muslim is a terrorist. In fact, the vast majority of Muslims are just everyday average people. They're not terrorists. To say that being a Muslim or an Arabic makes you a terrorist is akin to saying that being a German makes you a Nazi or being a Russian makes you a communist. I could go on all day about that. But still, I was willing to defend my Muslim friend, my Bosnian Muslim friend, from all these attackers. Fortunately, nobody said anything about it to him, because I would have been ready to defend my Muslim friend. And I am a Christian of all people. Also on that day, I saw my Bosnian Muslim friend in a different light. No longer did I see him as a Bosnian. From that day forward, I saw my Bosnian Muslim friend as an American who had every right to attend a worship service in any mosque of his choosing, just like I have a right to go into a church of my choosing. And, you know, that sort of thing. I may not agree with Islam, but I don't hold the followers accountable because of what the terrorists did on that day so long ago. The only people I hold accountable for that event is Al-Qaeda.